You claim you have a hardship case. Tell me about your living situation." Jack leaned in, his voice dropping to a tragic whisper. "It's a struggle, sir. I live with two vulnerable women. They depend on me. Without this loan, we'll be out on the street. I work 6 hours at school. I study all night. And I pick up part-time jobs whenever I can. Two girls." Travers' eyes narrowed. "In one apartment? It's purely domestic, sir," Jack said, remembering his persona. "I'm like their brother, or their maiden aunt. I provide the stability. And your father?" Travers asked. "How much does he earn?" "My father?" Jack blinked. "Oh, he's a very successful man. He earns over $6,000 a year." Travers stopped writing. "6,000. Mr. Tripper, that puts you well above the poverty line for financial aid. You are not a hardship case. You are, in fact, doing quite well for a student." "But wait," Jack cried. 6,000 isn't that much. Not with the price of bell-bottoms these days. And the girls, they eat a lot of salad. Very expensive greens. Application denied, Travers said, pointing to the door. Jack returned to the apartment defeated. "I'm too rich to be poor and too poor to be rich," he groaned, collapsing onto the sofa. "It's okay, Jack," Jonna said, sitting beside him. "We'll figure it out. We always do." "Yeah," Chrissy added, beaming. "And besides, we still have that leftover beef bourguignon in the fridge." Jack shuddered. "Not for me. Chrissy, I think I'll stick to crackers. At least they don't wag their tails when you eat them." Chapter 9. The Omelet Ordeal. The next morning, Jonna decided it was time she learned how to survive in the kitchen without Jack's constant supervision. She stood at the stove, a dozen eggs trembling in their carton, looking at Jack as if he were a high priest of some forgotten culinary religion. "Okay, Jack, the cheese is ripe. I'm ready. Teach me the secret of the omelet," Jonna said, brandishing a whisk like a weapon. Jack, still reeling from his lone rejection, sighed. "Not today, Jonna. I'm not in the mood to witness the massacre of dairy products." "Come on, Jack," Chrissy chimed in, leaning over the counter. "You have to. Otherwise, Jonna will keep trying to dice the cheese with the plastic wrap still on it." Jack rubbed his temples. "Fine, but I have to warn you, I'm a broken man. I'm yellow. I've got chicken in my blood." "Because of the bully at the pub?" Jonna asked softly. Jack's face crumpled. Even the kids at school could spot it. "Fat Kenny Jensen used to shake me down for nickels every morning. I basically put him through college." "Jack, you did the right thing by not fighting," Chrissy insisted. "He who fights and runs away lives to fight another day." "I didn't even fight and run away," Jack groaned. "I just hovered. I'm a professional hoverer." "Well," Jonna said, cracking an egg with perhaps too much force, "we like you just the way you are, with your face intact and everything." The lesson was cut short by a knock on the door. It was Stanley Roper, looking for his Sunday paper. You enjoying the funnies, Jack? Stanley asked, eyeing the newspaper on the table. Yeah, Jack said distractedly. There's this little guy being tormented by a big bully. Then the little guy dumps paint on his head. Why couldn't I have done that? Because you can't draw, Tinkerbell, Stanley remarked. And you're lucky you didn't fight that guy at the pub. You would have ruined your nails. Chapter 10, The Hero of the Hallway. The dynamic shifted drastically when Jonna and Chrissy, tired of seeing Jack mope about his lack of manliness, decided to take matters into their own hands. They returned to the Regal pub, where the leather-vested bully from the previous night was once again terrorizing the patrons. Listen, man, Jonna said, walking up to the bully with a confidence she didn't entirely feel. I wouldn't pick on my friend Jack if I were you. Oh yeah, the bully sneered. Why not? Is he going to lecture me on cheese selection? No, Chrissy blurted out. Because of the steel plate in his head, he got it saving his whole platoon in Vietnam. If you hit him, your hand will shatter like a Christmas ornament. The bully paused. He looked at Jack, who was currently hiding behind a large potted palm. A steel plate. That's right, John added, sensing an opening. He's a war hero. He's Cambodian. Or he was in Cambodia. It's a secret. He's basically a human weapon. The bully's eyes widened. He looked at Jack, who decided this was the perfect moment to accidentally trip over the palm, performing a frantic, uncoordinated tumble that looked remarkably like a lethal martial arts move to the untrained eye. Okay, the bully shouted, backing away. I'm sorry. I didn't know. Just don't let him get mad. He bolted out of the pub. Jack stood up, dusting off his floral shirt. Is he gone? Did I kill him with my secret palm technique? Jack, you were fantastic. Chrissy cheered. I was. Jack puffed out his chest. Yes, I was. I felt the tiger within. I guess I am a hero after all, even if the steel plate is actually just a very thick skull. Chapter 11, A Night to Remember. The week concluded with a rare event, a peaceful dinner out. Stanley Roper, in a fit of inexplicable generosity, or perhaps just wanting to escape Helen's cooking, invited the trio out for a meal and a night of bowling. My idea. My money, Stanley declared as they sat in a booth at a local diner. I told the wife, these kids aren't so bad, even if one of them is Cambodian. I'm not Cambodian, Mr. Roper, Jack sighed. Whatever, Stanley waved a hand. The point is, we're all here. We're neighbors. We're company. Helen looked at her husband with a mixture of shock and affection. Stanley, are you being nice? Do you have a fever? I'm just being neighborly. Helen, Stanley grumbled. Now, who's ready to lose to me in bowling? I've been practicing my hook. As they laughed and argued over the menu, the familiar rhythm of their lives in Santa Monica settled over them. They were an odd collection of souls, a landlord who hated fun, a wife who longed for it, and 3 roommates who were constantly one misunderstanding away.